Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, let us quickly visit a statement that regard the issued in connection with the predicament that the JUJA Member of Parliament found himself in. Now,
one-term movement is unstoppable, and there is nothing the president can do. He can kill these leaders. He can abduct them, he can torture them, but he cannot do that to all the people of Kenya.
According to Rigathi Gachagua's statement, George Koimburi, the Member of Parliament, was forced to swallow a chemical. Now, this chemical substance, ladies and gentlemen, this is what Rigathi says was meant to interfere with his vocal cord so that he could not speak. So these are accusations coming from Rigathi Gachagua, but the DCI is here to do its own investigation and ascertain who abducted the Member of Parliament, because first and foremost, we know that the DCI did not agree to the responsibility of George Koimburi's abduction. So in this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to go into Rigathi's statement and the genesis of JUJA Member of Parliament's troubles and that abduction ordeal. So before we explore this story further, ladies and gentlemen, kindly like this video to enable you to share it to many other people. Subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed before, and to our existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Now, if you go to the DCI's, listen to the statements they give, you are told that JUJA Member of Parliament has a case to answer. Now, it's all about the academic documents, all about land dispute, it's all about the issues of CDF, all those are cases which are leveled on him. But what is the biggest mistake which this Member of Parliament could have made? So I've been digging into the history of JUJA Member of Parliament, and I realized that if you go to the finance bill that was botched, the finance bill that brought about the uprising of the Gen Zs, there's a story there that the JUJA Member of Parliament claimed that those parliamentarians who voted to support the bill were each given 2 million. So they sold Kenyans at a price of 2 million each. So that is what he said. Now, of course, that was not going to sit well with the government, that the government felt that this Member of Parliament was exposing them, exposing the government, and painting a picture to the people that the government is using rogue means to push an agenda like a finance bill. I'm not saying that the government is responsible for the abduction, but right now people believe that it is the DCI.
We want to say shame on anybody who thinks a Mheshimiwa like this can abduct himself. And you want us police to believe your story? So I don't want to add. They are investigating themselves. Poor guy. Poor guy. If he repeats it, it's unfortunate. Yeah, there's an abduction squad. We go by what Rigathi Gachagua said last night. Special squad, designed to make sure that there will be no opposition in Kenya.
I've always called for an end to abductions, and we thought when President Ruto, in answer to a question from a foreign journalist saying that they have all come to an end, and all those that have been abducted and safely been returned to their homes and reunited with their families. Only unfortunately to see this latest one of Honorable Koimburi. And just to answer a simple question, on Friday last week, the police who are looking for Honorable Koimburi did not get him. He managed to escape. The police continued to look for him. They arrested his driver. His vehicle is still at Bodaiga police station. That was Friday. And then on Sunday, Is it rocket science to know the people that were hunting for Koimburi on Friday are the same ones who are looking for him on Sunday? It's a simple thing. So, IG KANJA, please, you can tell that story to the birds, not to Kenyans. It doesn't make sense.
He has lost his voice, and the doctors are working round the clock to restore his vocal cords. Some chemical was administered through inhalation, and the doctors have told us that preliminary investigations confirm that chemical has interfered with his vocal cords.
If you listen to Rigath's statement carefully, then you must agree that George, the JUJA Member of Parliament, is wholly behind Rigathi Gachagua. Now, for the past weeks, we have seen a situation where members who are allied to Rigathi Gachagua, their securities are withdrawn. So, talking about security being withdrawn, are we aware of a case where bodyguards, where George's bodyguards were withdrawn? Let's assume his bodyguards were not withdrawn. The big question here is, what was the bodyguard doing when George Koimburi was being abducted? Because if you remember the story on Sunday about that drama and the wife being manhandled, pushed out of a car when she attempted to, to stop the alleged abductors from abducting her husband. When she attempted to do that, to stop them, she was elbowed out of that vehicle. Na based on a story that she shared, ni kama walimuumiza, side yake moja walimuumiza.
Venye tulifika kanisani kama kawaida, service ikaendelea vizuri na tulipomalizia ndipo tukiwa pale nje kama kawaida, mnajua watu wakitoka mheshimiwa nasalimia watu, hapo ndipo waliweza kukuja na wakamchukua, na sio ile kumchukua ya amani ama ile kumuomba tafadhali tunakuomba uingie hapa, ni ile ya kumgrab ambayo ilifanya sisi wote kama washirika, kuna wengi ambao waliumizwa pale, kuna wengi ambao walirushwa hadi kwa mtaro. Mimi mwenyewe niliweza kufuata mume wangu hadi kwa Subaru ndani, na kulikuwa na jamaa alikuwa pale ndani, venye hao wawili walikuwa nje walimrusha, alikuwa anamvuruta ndani. So venye nilimfuata, waliweza ni kama ni yeye alinisukuma na huku nyuma, nao wenye walikuwa nje wakaanza kunigonga. Nikaweza kusikia ni kama nimeganda mkono na nikamwachilia mume wangu mguu, ndio nilikuwa nimemshika mguu, so nikaondokea ama wakanirusha nje, wakanisukuma nje, na hapo wakafunga mlango na wakaweza kuproceed, wakaenda sita
kwa sababu alipigwa elbow na akafeel na akaachilia, so that is how the member of parliament left the scene, and I understand it was from Full Gospel Church. That story is out there, the public domain, ladies and gentlemen. So this is confirming that this member of parliament is allied to Rigathi Gachagua. So this bodyguard, I've been thinking about the bodyguard security. What was the security doing? I mean, someone like a member of parliament, member of parliament akumali kama pale na hana protection. This is just happening a month after this issue of Ongondowere, which is a case that has not been solved. It's a case that is still being under investigation. The courts are now listening to this issue. That mistake of Ongondowere again, the bodyguard, they are responsible. So if I look at this standoff, I call it JUJA standoff because this member of parliament had a bodyguard. Whether it's a private bodyguard, it's a bodyguard from the government, permit for the police, but he had a security. What did this security do to prevent whatever happened? That is why I think many people still believe that this could have been some people from a very high rank could have orchestrated that illegal arrest. But what was the bodyguard doing? Time and time it has come out clear that security, watu ambao wanakuwa attached kwa hao waheshimiwa, sometimes they get carried away with the fact that wako na waheshimiwa, so they don't take care of the security of these waheshimiwa honorables. So I am looking at this scenario na personally I think hata hapa pia security alikosea kidogo, because you have a licensed firearm. You're supposed to protect the member of parliament. People come and snatch the member of parliament from the vicinity, and there's no gunshot fired. See, because the police have distanced themselves from that scenario or from that ordeal, then it means those people who arrested, or rather who took George Koimburi, must have been rogue people, rogue citizens. You know? Then if the DCI say that they don't know who did that, then it means hawa watu ambao walifanya whatever walifanya, yeah, ni majambazi. Because kama si polisi ni kina nani basi? Kama si polisi ni jambazi, kwa sababu Mkenya ambaye haizi bebata binduki, ambaye hajui atakubeba binduki, ataanzaje kumshika yule? Those could have been thugs, you know, because it's either thugs ama ni police, but police wamesema sio wao, then we can as well say that those were thugs. So if those were thugs, what did the bodyguard do? I'm concerned about the bodyguard's move, you know. What happened on Friday? The member of parliament left via motorcycle. That again is a scenario ambayo inaonyesha kwamba he was already exposed. So, ladies and gentlemen, just go below and offer your reaction, because I personally believe bodyguard with a private from serikali, there's something that the bodyguard ought to have done, you know, kwa sababu member of parliament ameji-expose kwa public. So we bodyguard unafanya nini, you know? So, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.